Okay, you guys, so for this concept development, I apologize, this application problem that you just did was for lesson 2, not lesson 1. But for the concept development today, you are going to need your Clover Creek math journal. Make sure you write your name here down at the bottom. We are going to use some grid paper, okay? You're going to use this page, one page here, and you are going to have to cut and tape today. So if you have scissors, if you have tape, great. If you do not, I just want you to follow along with what I'm doing and make sure that you're grasping that concept, okay? So just follow along with what I'm doing if you do not have those specific materials. So what you are going to do today is you make sure you have this. If you do not have it, if you haven't picked up your packet yet, I want you just following along with these videos to make sure that you're grasping the concept. So this is problem 1A. You're going to do all of your problems today on this one page, okay? But you will be cutting some things out. So make sure you start at the top and then you can work your way down at the bottom. So you are today what we're going to do is we're going to make boxes. We're going to make rectangular prisms. We're going to make cubes. And so to make our first box, you're going to copy the image that I draw in your own math journal, okay, with the grid paper. So here is your first image, okay? It looks like this. So there's that 4 cubic centimeters. Okay, so here is your image. And what I want you to do is that foundation piece, I want you to shade it in. So right there in the middle, that is our base. That is our foundation piece. So what we're gonna do is we are going to cut around the very outside of the edges, okay? So we're gonna cut this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just tear this page out because this is the page that we're using today. You're not gonna tear all your pages out, but because we are cutting today, you're gonna tear that one out. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we are going to take our scissors and we are going to cut just around the outside. Just around the outside. So it's gonna look like a T or a cross. I'll just cut this like that. Now I have a smaller piece. So here we have our cut out piece, okay? The bottom is shaded, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna fold up the flaps to make the sides of the box. So here are each one of our flaps. And we're gonna fold these up to make the sides of our box. Okay, so we have a box like this with no top, right? With no top. So in this lesson, what they wanted you to do is they wanted you to fill this with cubic centimeters to find out how many cubes fill up this box. And we know that it would be 4 cubes on the bottom and then a second story of 4 cubes together, which would be 8 cubic centimeters, right? 8 cubic centimeters. So what we have, okay, you can count one by one, or you can put a row of 2 on the bottom, or 4 on the bottom, and then another row of 4 on the top. So for this, all it wanted you to do was fill it up, okay? So if you filled it up, it would fit 8 cubic centimeters. So we're gonna make another one. Okay, here is the other one that we're gonna make. So go ahead and get that grid paper. I accidentally ripped off 2 pages. Get your grid paper, and you're gonna copy down this one. Okay, make sure you copy this down for me. We're gonna start off with the same 4 square up top. Feel free to pause this anytime. We're still gonna do a cross shape here, but instead of going down just 2 to make that a 4 square, we're gonna go down 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So here's your shape. And in the inside here is our base that's in the middle. So I'm going to shade that first. And how many cubic centimeters is this base? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If the base is 8 cubic centimeters, I'm going to kind of shade it in. There's our base, that's 8 cubic centimeters. Okay, and just think, before you cut this out and fold up the box, pretend like you're gonna fold this box up. How many stories? These wings here represent the stories, right? This is the first story, this is the second story. So how many stories of this 8 cubic centimeters are we gonna have? 2, right? The volume of this box is what? If we know that we have 2 stories of 8 cubic centimeters, what is the volume of this box? Nice job. It's going to be 16 cubic centimeters. 16 cubic centimeters. So we will cut this out. You can pause the video and you can cut this out. I'm going to finish drawing in my lines. We're going to cut this out and then we're going to fold it so we can see how this new rectangular prism relates. How does it relate to the one that we just did? So I'm going to cut this one out here. All right, so now I have my new rectangular prism. Okay, and we're gonna fold our flaps. And when we fold our flaps, how many cubic centimeters could we fit inside this box? Okay, and we said 16 because there are 8 on the bottom and then there are still 2 stories, right? So how does this second one compare to this one that we just did for number 1? Good, it doubled, right? The volume doubled from this one. So 2 of these small boxes, okay, would fit inside. So the volume doubled. Okay, so why do you think that the volume doubled? Yeah, very good. Okay, the sides of the boxes are the same height. Look, there's 2 rows on the flaps. They are the same height. So what changed was the base. the base. This was 4 and this is 8, so it doubled. Okay, let's make one more. So go ahead and get that grid paper. Watch what we do with this one. This time, we aren't going to cut right now, okay? So all I want you to do is draw what I'm going to draw. We'll start here. We have a square that is made up of 4 length and 4 width. Okay, then now we're going to make our flaps that go on each side. Our flaps are going to be 4 wide, but our flaps are only going to be 3 cubic centimeters tall. Every flap. 1, 2, 3. Same width, but only 3 cubic centimeters tall. So we know that our structure has how many stories? How many stories does our structure have? Good, it has 3 stories. 3 stories, okay? The flaps show the number of layers or the number of stories, right? The bottom has how many cubes? 4 times 4. The bottom has 16 cubes, right? There are 16 cubes and there are 3 layers. The bottom is 4 by 4 with 3 layers. Okay, so 16 is on the bottom layer. The second story has how many cubes? 16, so it's doubled, which is 32. And then we have a third story, which is 16. So that equals 48. 16 times 3. Let's see if we're right. 6 times 3 is 18. 8 carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 more is 4. Okay, so our volume is 48 cubic centimeters because 16 times 3 layers, 16 cubic centimeters, or centimeters cubed, okay, same thing, times 3 layers is 48 centimeters cubed. So you don't have to cut this out to find out how many cubes fit inside. That is the end of number 1.